And so we've been going through some of Paul's metaphors. Last week we dealt with several. We dealt with the metaphor of justified, and we dealt with the metaphor of reconciled last week. If you don't have those lessons, go on the internet. They are available. This week we're looking at two more metaphors, or examples, analogies, words that Paul uses to put into his readers' terminology, his ideas on salvation. And the words we're going to look at today are the words adopted and the word reckoned. So with us looking at these two words, let's go ahead and start with adopted. Now, I don't know how many of you have gone through the adoption process in America, but last week celebrated the one-year anniversary of two of my very good friends, Rick and Kirsten. Rick and Kirsten had wanted to have a child together for a long time. They tried. They weren't able to do so successfully, even with all of the wonderful advances of medicine. So they took that as an indication that it was time for them to adopt, and they started looking at the adoption laws in the United States, and they're tough. There is so much red tape and so much difficulty. I have asked senators in the United States Senate, I said, y'all may disagree all over the board on abortion. There may be people who are pro, maybe people who are against, there may be people who straddle the fence, there may be people who have exceptions. Doesn't matter. If we could ever figure out how to cut the red tape on adoptions and make adoptions easier, where people could have access to medical care and then have put a baby into an adoption process, that alone would change the abortion rate in America. But the red tape is, and everybody, regardless of where they stand politically on abortion, ought to be willing to do that. But so far it's fallen on inactive ears, at least, if not deaf ears. So join me in that cry. Let's change some of the red tape. My friends Rick and Kirsten had to go down to Guatemala to adopt a baby. And the red tape there, as tremendous as it was lesser, so that they were actually able to eventually get a baby, get the baby a U.S. citizenship, a U.S. passport, and they celebrated the one-year anniversary of Joshua just last week, being in America. And he's been to his first Yankees game. They live in New York. Bless their heart, they took him out of Guatemala and turned him into a Yankee. But he's in a very loving family that has great love for Texas, so things seem to work out. But adoption in America is very different than the adoption Paul used as a metaphor.